skeptical, so unpredictable, here on the SNL Network.
Yes, hello everybody, and welcome to the SNL Network's patron feedback show for the Jake Gyllenhaal and Camila Cabello episode of Saturday Night Live. This is the show where we answer your questions about SNL as we wrap up 1 week and look towards the next, with host and musical guest Lizzo coming on in. So a lot to talk about. The storylines this week were rampant. We got a ton of questions. We have a lot of stuff to do with social media to go over, and we have two amazing patrons joining us on the show today. So here, first up, somebody who joined us all the way back at the beginning of the season. Was it the Rami Malek episode?
Yeah,
I believe it's Johnny Fletcher.
episode
Johnny,
3.
how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back, John. I've been looking forward to coming back here.
Yes, 100%. Johnny, everything going well in your life?
Wonderful. Excited to talk about some SNL.
Yes, I'm so excited. And of course, always excited to talk to this guy. He's joined us for a couple of patron feedback shows previously, and returning for the trifecta, it is Carlos Rodella. Carlos, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? And that Rami episode was awesome. I enjoyed it.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, Carlos, I know you always bring great takes, so I'm excited to hear what you think of the show.
I got hot takes. I'm loaded up with hot takes.
All right, so very excited about this. That's what we do here on the show. It's not the hot take show, but we still bring the hot takes. So we can't wait to discuss those. All right, Johnny. So it's been a while since we heard from you. Catch us up on your thoughts on season 47.
I've really enjoyed the season for the most part. Excited that gotten to see a lot of Sarah. Upset about not seeing enough Aristotle. Chris Redd has had an amazing season. Like, just, he's always been great, but I feel like he's just been breaking out like crazy this year, week after week, where it's like, man, this was a Chris week. The whole is Kate being back the second half of the season has been great. She's kind of I feel her step into the background a little bit, letting other people come up. It's just been a good season. I feel like we're entering a new era of SNL, and just kind of showing that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we're starting to see some of the younger players, really get involved in the show. Some of the mid players, we talked about Chris and Heidi a lot. You see a lot of the younger players getting involved, and especially this week with Punky, obviously JJ, obviously Sarah. So a lot of exciting things, a lot of cast members to talk about. Carlos, I think when we last spoke, it was at the beginning of 2022. So a few months into the year, how do you feel about the show right now?
Well, I mean, there was just that incredible John Mulaney episode that I wanted to talk to you guys about so bad.
Okay.
For me, it was just like a perfect episode, and just like kind of return to form of all this kind of stuff I wanted to see, and how continuation of sketches could happen, right? Like that 5 Timers Club thing. So there's a couple high points for me, but there's also a lot of like meh and a little bit of malaise, I feel like, because I think there's a lot of like, there's a lot of missed opportunity. Like, Johnny just said Aristotle's not around, and I think he's such a talent. And obviously we saw a little bit of that on the news desk sketches with him. I like that I'm seeing more Sarah, and you can tell that a lot of stuff that she's writing or writing with people is getting through. We'll talk about maybe Chucky or something, but like, I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I like some of the new players getting more screen time. I like the older alumni coming back, and Kate and 80. Seeing 80 just anytime is awesome. So I think it's a mixed bag for me. I feel like there's been a really couple huge highlights. But other than that, there's a couple missed opportunities, I think.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say that this is we're obviously 17 episodes in. I think we can evaluate it. Not too much is going to change, over the next month or so. But like I said, I think this is a good season. I definitely would say in the 2 seasons we've done the podcast between 46 and 47, this would definitely be the stronger one. But I think at the beginning I was like, top 5 season and since the 40s and or whatever it was. I mean, best season since 42. I think that's what I was saying. And actually, here, this is the take. It was the best season in the last 5 years. I don't know if that's the case, but I think this is a very strong season. And I think that it's had its ups, it's had its downs. And I think that in the, since the Mulaney episode, which for me was a little bit of a pivot point along the path that we've had, I think that the show has been relatively strong. So I'm feeling good about it, especially this Jake Gyllenhaal episode. And again, I always like to come on the patron feedback shows at the end of the week and talk about what the public perception of the show was. And, I was just stunned how many people did not like the episode from what I saw on social media, because on the podcast itself, and I'll say this was my take as well, I really enjoyed the Jake Gyllenhaal episode. I think that just having a really strong host in there, boosted this episode tremendously for me. So, Johnny, how are you feeling about the Jake Gyllenhaal episode?
When I watched it live on Saturday, I thought it was pretty good. On rewatch, I enjoyed it so much more. A couple of the weirder things I think I kind of let sink in a little bit more. Like the Chucky sketch, the truck driver musical thing. On second watch, I think those all really hit me a lot better. I'd say on Saturday night, I was probably giving it like a 6.5, but on rewatch, I'd bump that up to about a 7.5.
I think that's where I landed as well. I landed at about, a 3/4 good episode, but like I said, Jake Gyllenhaal was the higher equation over the episode itself. Carlos, how are you feeling about this episode?
Yeah, the same kind of thing when I watch it live, which I'm doing a lot more because of this show, which is fun. I was kind of like meh on it. I thought it was about a 6 or 5 or something like that. I was like, yeah, it's okay. To your point, I think Jake is awesome and he can kind of do no wrong in sketches. He really just kind of brings it full on. If he's being a nerd, like in that, what's that sketch? Why'd you like it? He's a good nerd. He's a good kind of like, just kind of foil to the issues. And then he can go and sing, which he sang a lot in this episode.
A lot,
kind of a weird lot.
Did you guys like that? Or was it like,
I didn't care either way. I just was like, why is this happening?
I thought it was a little much, like maybe tone that down, maybe 10 to 20% less singing. Because it got to the point that towards the end was like, yes, we get it. You like to sing. You're good at it. It's funny. It didn't need to be in as many sketches as it was.
Right. Yeah. Like, what's the point of it in the sketch? Like, you can sing. Okay, fine. You can carry a tune. But yeah, I think to that point, like, I was really kind of like meh on it when I watched it. I rewatched it, and just like Johnny, a couple of sketches really stuck out. Obviously, Chucky's really good on a rewatch. Like, in the beginning, you're like, why is this a sketch? And then you go, oh, it's just Sarah being crazy with whoever she wrote it with. But it's also like really funny on a lot of weird, dark levels. That's very good on rewatch. And the trend forecasters destroy me every time. Yeah, like, they don't make any sense, right? But it's really good.
Yeah, I agree. As soon as I saw them come out with those costumes, I was like, I started actually literally clapping my hands because I remembered them. Was it the Willem Dafoe episode? Yeah, when they did that, and I was just like, just anything Adie and Bowen do together just cracks me up. Like their chemistry is wonderful, and I think it just gets similar to my sense of humor, like my sensibilities. They're always going to knock it out of the park together, as far as I'm concerned.
I also think that the commitment that they have, that's what I wrote down on my notes, is so much what is funny about that. Like, they turn to camera to deliver those lines, go to hell, all that stuff. It's just such commitment that you laugh, but you're also just like with them because you know that they believe in that bit so hard. And my closing thoughts on just like the episode, I think it's similar to the season and my feelings on the season. It was up and down. Even in rewatch, I was like, oh, that flower sketch? No, I don't want it. I mean, if you liked it, that's okay. But that's like the elf sketch in the past they've done. And there's just a couple of sketches where I was like, well, I don't know why these are there. But then a couple that I really liked more. So for me, it's kind of up and down, I think.
Yeah. Johnny, do you agree?
Yeah. I know a lot of people really liked the Why'd You Like It sketch, and I did enjoy it, but some of the game shows, I feel like to do a game show now, 47 seasons in, you have to really have something new to say. Like, they've just done so many good ones that even if it's just a little subpar, it's noticeable.
Mm.
Yeah. I do feel like this was one of those, though. I felt like this did have something to say. Like, it spoke to a lot of people. I think a lot of people can relate to the
Yeah,
situation. So
I enjoyed it, but I was not as high on it as a lot of people were, I guess.
yeah, that's fair. I do have a question for the two of you before we start getting into the social media stuff. Through our discussions today and the discussions throughout the week, I was trying to think about what the best way to ask this question is. But, what is the right amount for a host who maybe isn't a traditional trained musician, but wants to sing on SNL? They come in. They don't do, like, for those who don't know, like, a lot of times hosts now, during COVID times, don't actually come in on Mondays. They'll Zoom with the cast members on Mondays, and people will pitch them things, and they'll say, okay, what do you want to do? And then somebody like Jake Gyllenhaal, who has hosted the show before, but hosted in an era where not a lot of people are left from that era, Keenan aside. And people are like, oh, Jake, like, what do you want to do this week? And he's like, I want to sing. Like, I love singing, but I never get to sing in any of my movies or whatever it is. What is the right amount for that? Because I feel like I always hear from the fans, like, too much singing, too much singing. Is it just like complete burnout from some of our cast members that we like put that on the host, or what is that right amount for a host? So, Johnny, I'll start with you.
I would say if it was just, the monologue, obviously, and then there was the the cabaret, the four singers one. I'd say if it was just that and one that's about singing, like it's it's a singing sketch where like they didn't need the singing bit in the spring flowers, that little bit in there, or I feel like they were just kind of adding singing a little too much on there. So like maybe the monologue one, maybe two sketches.
Mm-hmm. Carlos, what do you think?
Yeah, Monet had a good comment there about Cecily doing singing all the time, right? But yeah, I just feel like, again, it always, if singing serves a sketch, then have singing. But if it's just to be singing, I don't know. I think you tell the host, stop it. Like, we're not doing it again. Like, if it's funny, it's funny. Yeah, like you said, I can't even remember it was in the flower sketch, but that's way too much. It made sense in the sketch when they were all talking about average people. I actually like that concept a lot, by the way. That's good enough for me. I've done I've got my coffee today, and that's good enough for me. That's great. That's like the whole sketch is the song. That makes sense. But I think that even in the beginning and stuff, I just don't think you need it as much. So I'm on the side of not singing as much, unless, again, it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is going to be one of the things that I'm going to watch for this week, as far as, our patron feedback shows. This is a community-based show. So I always like to get the temperament of what people are feeling online about SNL. And I really can't wait to see what people are going to say about the Lizzo show, because if, she does sing in a bunch of sketches, and obviously she comes from a musical background, does that work better because everybody knows that's, who she is and can expect it going into the show? But when a host comes in who is not a traditional, singing host, it's like, oh, let's be really hard on them because that's not what we wanted or expected to get from them.
But to that point, I've seen hosts come on and do like songs and like they can't sing really, and it's funny. Yeah. It's like they'll break. I remember what, I feel like that happened this season. Maybe not. You know everything about SNL.
Well, you tell me who you're talking about, because I
don't remember. I feel like there was a host that like sang something and their voice broke, and it was kind of funny. And I was like, oh, they can't really sing that far, that range. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Lizzo, sorry. She can sing.
Yeah. I'm not an American Idol judge. I'm an SNL evaluator.
I know. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it's no problem. Yeah, Johnny, any last thoughts about the singing conversation?
Just that, as we said, if as Carlos was saying, if it serves the joke, if it's funny,
Sure.
I think really, if it's an unfunny sketch and they're singing, we're gonna have much more of a problem with the singing than if it was a funny sketch.
Yeah. That's fair. Curious what is going to happen this weekend. Obviously, previous double duty hosts, a lot of fun that they've had with singing, including people like Bruno Mars and Ariana Grande in certain senses, but it doesn't work for everybody. So we're going to talk about that a lot as we get through our questions. But let's start with our SNL social media, and let's get a little bit hyped for what we're going to see this weekend with host and musical guest Lizzo. So not sure if you guys had seen this I believe it was on TikTok, but also posted on Instagram as well. I guess this is Lizzo in the bathtub. If you're watching on YouTube, so if you're listening on the audio feed, you're missing out from seeing this. She's covered up with bubbles, but she wrote, "Guys, I'm finally in NYC to perform and host SNL. This is single-handedly the most iconic and terrifying thing I've ever done. ... Wish me luck. ... Love y'all! ! And see you Saturday! ! Guy, how do I describe this emoji? Guy holding his hands to his face, blue forehead, at least 9 times.
That's the correct term.
Yeah, I believe that's
right.
Yep.
There's probably a better way to describe
That's
that.
not the correct term. I'm just agreeing you to make you feel better.
For sure. Carlos, how would you describe this emoji?
Like freaked out, screaming, freaked out.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Yes, and let me just also say this is from Lizzo at Lizzo on Twitter. It says, "I'm in NYC about to host and perform on SNL ... This ain't even bucket list ... This is beyond my dreams. I am shaking." This emoji is the like cute little bubbly eyes emoji. Okay. So Carlos, what are your thoughts on Lizzo coming in the post that she's making? It's really sweet to just see how much she loves SNL.
It's awesome, and it's very honest and true, But the first thing I'm thinking about is, why is it a repost? I do TikTok, so I'm like, why did she must have posted this twice then? Because that little symbol in the screenshot means it's reposted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which means that she's posted that twice. Maybe she posted it once and then no one saw it, and then she had to repost it. That's just some TikTok info for you. You didn't ask for it.
We're getting the behind the scenes down and dirty from you, Carlos. Thank you.
Yes, she did not take that bath this week, Carlos.
No, yes, she might have taken it. Yeah. But no, it's honest, and I love honesty, right? So like, yeah, be freaked out, be excited. It's intense. I haven't done it yet, but at some point. And yeah, this is great. It's awesome, and I bet she's gonna be great.
Cool. I agree. Johnny, what do you think?
Yeah, she's totally psyched for it, and I think that'll serve her well. She takes that energy into the show. I saw her; she was on the Today Show earlier this week, just talking about how being on SNL, and I think she has her clothing line coming out this week as well. So she's got a new single coming out tomorrow. So she was just saying how it's like just the biggest week, and she's totally pumped. Like just. She couldn't stop smiling. So, I mean, I think she's just having the time of her life and going for it.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what we're going to get to see from Lizzo. This was interesting. She did post this also on Twitter. She said, "What kind of sketches y'all want to see me do?" Eyes emoji. So I'll give you Carlos. I know you create sketches. You want to pitch something to Lizzo if she's listening?
Oh, we're pitching it. Well, it's too late. It's way too late. You can't
got anything for her? Don't hold back. Don't keep things for other hosts, Carlos. You got to give us something for Lizzo.
Well, it starts with singing. Okay, it starts with singing. It's a singing sketch, and it's about singing in sketches. No, I think that she could do something that's like funny, sexy. I mean, I think I already saw it in the comments, but her and 80 together, I just want to see that. I feel like it's probably already written. So being sexy, but then like being like funny at the same time. Yeah. And also I would like to see her as a nerd, like straight up nerdy. I don't know why. I think that would be really funny.
Yeah. Nerdzo. Okay, Johnny, any pitches for Lizzo?
No, not so much pitches. As much as we know she's a great singer. She's also great at playing the flute. So I want some flute sketches.
Oh, right. Weird.
Playing live.
Yeah,
I think that would just be fun.
Right. Maybe we get a weird little flute. So that could be.
Oh, that's right. Weird little
flute. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. Okay. Here are some behind the scenes at SNL from Saturday night. So a great follow on Instagram is Rosalind_O'Connor posted some things. And obviously we see Chloe Fineman behind the scenes. We just see Bowen Yang and Sarah Sherman. Bowen dressed as the bee, Sarah dressed as the flower here. So I always love these shots behind the scenes and really cool. This one is from 80 Bryant. 80 Bryant posted on Twitter, which she announced herself. So obviously she was away from the show last week. She did announce that last week she had COVID. And this week she wore a little hat in the Trend Forecasters sketch where she, or part on Weekend Update. This was really cute. Keenan Thompson on Instagram responded, "In 80 Brian. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to do the voice, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
In 80 and Bowen doing anything together! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Out. Anyone who disagrees! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! 80 Brian says Keenan! Exclamation mark! Heart! Heart! Heart. Faye Dunaway, otherwise known as Bone Yang, says in Keenan. So yeah, this was really, really great.
Go to bed and never wake.
See, it's commitment. It's such commitment. Never wake.
So good.
So good.
Yeah. So Carlos, did you give your thoughts on the trend forecasters?
Yeah, I love them. I love them to death.
Cool.
Yeah, they're just like all about intensity.
Yeah.
80 and Bowen doing anything together. It's just that kind of oomph. I love it. And I love 80 so much. I want to hang out with it.
Yeah. Yeah, Johnny, anything else you wanted to say about this?
I just love them. I just think they're great. You know, as I said before, anything with the two of them together. So Keenan and I are on the same page here.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone who disagrees is out.
Yeah, name me the last time a veteran of SNL came out with a new character on the Weekend Update desk, and it was universally loved. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah.
So good on 80 to have this going with Bowen. All right, let's start with on the left here. We have at Chloe is Crazy, otherwise known as Chloe Feynman, on Instagram, talking about the Why Do You Like That sketch. I have it as Why Do You Like It, but I guess Chloe would know better than me. Always a blast writing with Skater Punk 69. I believe that is Jake Nordwin and Mike DiCenzo. And very hard not to break when Kenan Thompson and Chris Redd are being that hilarious. Hashtag raw dogging, star emoji, knife emoji, heart emoji. Yeah, absolutely. That was so funny. That line.
Yeah.
Raw dogging in a Starbucks bathroom.
So funny.
That's on network television, everyone.
Yes. And by the way, best part of the sketch, Chloe Feynman was the best part of the sketch. Just a great night for her. Guys, anything left unsaid about this sketch?
Oh, I just want to say one thing. Pass.
Yes. Love that.
That delivery. Yeah, there it is.
So good. Sorry, go ahead, Carlos. Yeah.
No, I was just saying pass. That's all I'm saying is pass. I like that sketch a lot.
Cool. A sketch that I absolutely loved and I advocated. I think this is the best thing James Austin Johnson has done on the show this season. I don't even think that's a hot take. I just think, if you go to Shrimp Judge on Instagram, James Austin Johnson posts, had a great time in last night's cold open with Ego Wodum as Ketanji Brown Jackson, as well as HGTV's Dream Home Cousins. Could not hit Heidi Gardner without one of us laughing and blowing the take. Watch them both in my stories. God bless America. That was just, there was just so many moments in this one, but
no.
He's unbelievable.
Kate.
He's just so talented and so built for the show.
Yeah, I love the what they call him, milk toast, didn't they?
Yeah,
I think a milk toast of a husband or something.
Yeah.
His just like not even being there. Like he's like kind of there, can't even talk or something. Oh my goodness.
It was beautiful. That whole sketch was just wonderful. The cat, whoever made that cat.
Oh, so funny.
Just horrifying. My wife, her family's cat lived to be about that age, and that looked about right. So I think they did a great job of showing a very sickly 27-year-old cat as I have seen one in real life. Did not need that many machines though to keep alive.
For sure. I just love the fact that JJ obviously doing all the impressions for the cold opens, but naturally is building a rapport with so many different cast members. This time was the first time we really saw like him and Kate McKinnon, having that type of interaction. Obviously had this with Heidi. Last week was also with Andrew Dismukes, had some great rapport. Previously in the Longhorn sketch of the Ariana DeBose episode at the end of that one, had a big role in that as well. So I think he's just building his, we like to talk about alliances on the patron feedback show sometimes. I believe that he's connecting with a lot of writers, really setting himself for a long extended run at the show.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I was just saying, anytime we can see him doing not an impression, just doing a character is been great. I just like to see what else he can do, what other tricks he has. And this one was just perfect.
Well, that's actually what I was going to say, which is weird. Like mine's. I originally was kind of just okay with him. I think I said my hot take on one of these shows was like, about him. But yeah, as I see him do other things that aren't just Trump, and this is a kind of great role where it's like a little understated, right? A character where he's not loud and boisterous in something. He's just like playing along with everybody else and playing off other people, like you were talking about. So I really, really am starting to warm to him.
Yeah, totally. This was great. So at Comedy Works on Twitter said, finally got at Red Said It at NBC SNL's rookie card. So obviously this account created a Jackie Robinson style rookie card of Chris Red, and Chris Red reposted this with crying emoji, crying emoji, crying emoji. So guys, this was great. John,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I want this as a poster. I want this in my home.
So smart. So great. Carlos?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I want to see more like SNL playing cards now.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
Do
in
they ever do
general.
this? That's like a money making idea. They should have had collector cards for SNL. I feel like they must have. Like Casey's in the chat. I feel Casey would know.
Yeah,
Casey, let me know
probably like
chat
in
if
the
you know
80s or
that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's some value. Like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I have my Phil Hartman card. Like, I feel like there's
Right.
Okay, so this is pretty great. There's some behind the scenes here that was posted to Instagram stories from writer Claire O'Kane, Rosebud Baker, and Little Dog on the TV. So obviously it was really fun to see some behind the scenes of the Why Do You Like It sketch, where we had Rosebud Baker and we also had Adriana Perez, who was one of the film unit directors, who was, you know, the woman that they were groveling over in this sketch. So is really fun. We also got this post from Alex English on the right, who is behind the scenes smiling at Punky Johnson and Melissa Villaseñor and Jake Gyllenhaal in that Punky sketch that we saw. Obviously, this is a sketch that was cut from the Kieran Culkin episode, and Alex English has been trying to get a lot of stuff on the show. So is Melissa, so is Punky. So very exciting about that sketch. Anything you guys want to say about Couples Counselor?
Well, I just want to say, oh, go ahead, Johnny.
I would say I really enjoyed the sketch. The fact that she had a super soaker, Ego coming in with the super soaker, which is not something I expected. So that caught me off guard, made me laugh. And I'm just happy anytime Punky and Melissa get, you know, more than just a line or standing in the background in a sketch.
I won't talk about that sketch because I think it'll make people upset. My hot take is I did not care for it. But I do want to say that it was so good to see Rosebud. So because I've been watching her stand up for a while. And she does a podcast with her husband. I think they're married now. And so I feel like, you know, when you watch someone for long enough, you feel like you know them in a little way. And to see her, like, you know, just pop up, I feel like it's kind of an inside bit, you know, because not everybody knows who she is and she's a writer. So for me, I was like, that's her. Look, there she is.
Her stand-up is great. I enjoy her. Yeah.
For sure.
I was very happy when she got hired as a writer.
Yeah, I'm happy about that, and also a little known fact. Actually, I found this out today that Claire O'Kane and James Austin Johnson are pretty good friends outside of the show. So I could see that as a writing duo eventually for sketches. So, you know, more people who are connecting with, you know, like I said, young writers connecting with younger people on the show is exactly what you need to start to build towards a new era. Casey in the chat, thank you, Casey, said that there were SNL trading cards around 1991-ish. So good to know. If there's any out there, I definitely would love to see some pics. Okay, so a little bit more behind the scenes photos. This from Celeste Yim at Celeste Rogan on Instagram. Springtime, you know, posting behind the scenes. This is one with them and Bowen, as well as I believe this is Sarah in the, I think so, in the flower costume as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for sure. Also, some behind the scenes there with a video watching dog on toilet on the cue card. So there's some just fun things that you get to see behind the scenes.
Awesome.
We talked about the Chucky sketch. I mean, lots of really cool behind the scenes things you obviously saw if you were watching this live in the interstitial, you know, as going to commercial. You could see all the green screen people pushing the Chucky doll down, all, you know, dressed in green morph suits. So at Sarah Squirm on Instagram says, got to make movie magic and go full Chucky mode with Dan Bula and Mike Diva. Every single person at SNL who worked on this and made this happen in literally one day is literally an effing genius. Thanks for staying up for 50 hours straight. Paul Del Gesso and Ryan McElraith. Swipe through to see some insane Monkey Boys Productions puppeteering and some gnarly Louis Zakarian makeup clown face. In quotes, "You filthy sluts, I'll teach you to mess with me." Just so cool. Johnny, this was amazing.
Yeah, it's, you know, the just the turn of it being Chucky in the stall and not Janet, you know, because you assume they're talking about the person's going to be the person coming out, and it's Chucky. Then just going into the you're not sure where the sketch is going to go after, you know, he attacks them, and then you're in an HR meeting. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I loved it so much, and yeah, the fact that they can make these sketches in just, you know, a day or two come to life is just, the production design team and art department and all that are just absolutely amazing. Best in the business. This and the I thought in the Property Cousins sketch, just all the room mock-ups and stuff, I just thought was so good.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Like,
so
just they did such a good job with that this week.
So cool. Carlos?
Yeah, so many graphics in that house improvement one.
Mm.
Yeah, I love Sarah, and I love the fact that it came together in this way. It's interesting because we all know Chucky, and the basic premise is there that it's a little doll and it's like, you know, going to stab people. But what I liked the most out of it was like these kind of just quiet, very Sarah moments when they would turn to her and she'd be like, meh. You know, like that. Like that's her doing. She has a thing about like vomiting stuff up, you know, and she just enjoys the gross. So I felt like every time they turned to her and like in this kind of interview section at the end, her just being like nasty and whatever, that's really what sold me on the sketch. It's not the fact that it was like Chucky stabbing people, because it really just came down to like them talking to, you know, this Chucky version. And yeah, that 80 moment was great. Just her being the foil, like, oh no, I'm just eating over here. Sorry.
80 as Janet
beautiful.
was perfect.
Yeah.
Great 80
Perfect.
episode. Yeah, so if you're looking if you're watching on video, you'll see more behind the scenes, obviously, of the Monkey Boys Productions with the doll both next to Jake Gyllenhaal and walking down the bathroom. So very, very cool stuff behind the scenes there. Okay, we got to finish off on this. Okay, I have a question for the two of you. So this was from the credits of this episode, and there is a great shot during the closing credits of Willow Smith and Aristotle Atari having a conversation. Okay. I don't know what was said here, but I'm going to give the two of you an opportunity to guess what the two of them were having a conversation about. What were they saying to each other in this moment? Obviously, Willow Smith, you know, a lot going on with her family as well as Aristotle on SNL. So, Carlos, what do you think what they were talking about here?
I raised my hand because I have the perfect answer.
Yeah.
Willow said, I don't know what my dad was thinking. Okay, I guess it wasn't the perfect answer. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I don't think she said that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then what do you think she said?
Well, now I'm looking at the picture for the first time now.
Okay, fine.
Maybe she's saying like, I don't know why you're not on the show.
Yeah.
John,
you're funny.
Who are you?
I just want to know what they were saying to each other.
When I was going through the slides that you sent of this, and I got to this, and I was just looking. I was first looking at the center. I'm like, what? What am I supposed to be looking at? Then I saw Aristotle and Willow off to the side. I was like, oh, I think this is what we're supposed to be looking at here. I must have looked at I was like looking at the names. If there was something that was, I'm like, oh, I missed what I was looking at here.
This is my prediction. This is what I think that they said to each other. Okay, I got this, Carlos. I got this, Johnny.
Okay.
I think that Willow Smith walked over to Aristotle Atari during the closing things and said, Aristotle, I'm so sorry I didn't see you in the show tonight. Like, I'm sorry you weren't in anything. And Aristotle was like, well, at least my dad didn't slap Chris Rock.
Okay, so I kind of alluded to that. It's kind of the same thing.
I feel like that's what it was. But
all right,
so didn't you steal your bit? Maybe mine came across a little bit. Yeah, but I punched up what you were going for.
You did,
not slapped up.
We're writing together. Yes, and yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. that ends our social media section. Okay, gentlemen, are you ready to take some questions that we got this week?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start at the top. This is a question from our friend Jeremy Boulard. Jeremy says, this was a really strong week for the women of SNL with a strong showing for every woman on the cast. What do you feel about the episode led to the show looking this way, especially after we had so many male-dominated episodes or sketches this season? Johnny, what do you think? Why was this a more female-heavy episode?
That's a really good question. I don't have a good answer for that, actually. I've been thinking about that since I was looking at the question earlier this afternoon, and I unfortunately don't have anything. Wasn't there? Didn't Mike have a stat about male hosts and time?
Yeah, he did actually. On the By the Number show, we did cover this a little bit, which was like which hosts were more male dominated in terms of the cast versus versus others. And in some ways, sometimes we find like really clear patterns, but I don't know that there is in this case.
Right.
You just sort of have to wonder like what worked out that we've been clamoring for this, but what really worked out this week that made this happen. Carlos, do you have any guesses?
Yeah, I was wondering of that same stat about like if there's a male host, do we have more female players?
Well, the answer to that is definitely no, right? Because there's 80% of SNL's history has been male hosts, but most it's hard to think about episodes that were so female dominated.
Right. I think it comes down to like we have a lot of great women to write with, a lot of great women players, and I think that it just averages. At some point it's just going to be that way, but I also think it always comes down to what's funny. I think I said that last episode, but if you have like a bunch of sketches that are all male dominated and they suck and they get cut, then it's the ones that are more women dominated. But yeah, I don't know.
I love this guess from Monette in the chat. Says, I'm wondering if the ratio has to do with singing sketches, which is very interesting perspective, right? Because a lot of women in the cast could definitely, have strong singing chops and, definitely in terms of Cecily, but it's just interesting to think about. I mean, like I look at the top of the list, I have the total appearances here for the episode. I mean, Ego in 6, Cecily in 5, Chloe in 5, Kate, 80 in 3, Melissa in 3. It was really just Heidi that wasn't really in a lot this week in terms of the women of the cast, which is unusual because Heidi's been in the third most sketches of all the cast members this season. So it was just like, I don't know.
Was Heidi just in the pre-tape this week, or did she have a live sketch as well?
She was in the house thing. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's it for her this week.
Huh.
So yeah, a light week for Heidi, but really just it was pretty fascinating. I mean, I didn't even include, by the way, Punky or Sarah, who were in 2 sketches. Those are from the feature player list. But just really, I wish I could give you a better answer, Jeremy, to your question about what led the show to look this way. But it's so funny because so many times this season I get on the hot take shows and then we'll have panelists on the show say like, okay, like the episode was funny, but it was a lot of dick jokes, like it was a lot of like guy stuff and like what happens in the example, what happens in a bathroom, and it just for some reason, yeah, exactly. And it was like for some reason it just like completely flipped this episode, and I think it was great because that showed a different side to the show, and it showed how strong this female cast is.
And by the way, they could do that same what happens in the bathroom, but in a female bathroom, in a women's bathroom.
Except it's Chucky now who's in there. So
oh no, Chucky has to leave. Also, I love seeing Melissa again because I miss her, and I watch her on YouTube as well, and I think she's so funny, and she's had so many memorable moments in like past seasons that I feel like that I don't think they tap into like what's funny about her, not just impressions, but like there's something else that I really like about her and honesty. So hopefully I see her more. And she was in the sketch that I didn't like, which made me sad.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's take this question from Emily. Emily says, do you think not having any Taylor references in the Gyllenhaal episode was a decision made by the writers, or do you think Jake vetoed anything of that sort? Johnny, what do you think?
I think probably maybe a combination of both. I'm sure, I don't know if Jake maybe specifically said it, but I think maybe they might have picked something and he was like, and it wasn't very funny, so they also went, Like I couldn't think. I don't know. I'm no professional comedy writer here, but I don't know what they could have done that would have been funny. Had it been like the week after Taylor was on, maybe. But I think that story's kind of died down in the zeitgeist. I was hoping they weren't going to do it because I didn't think it was probably going to be that funny.
Yeah, that's fair. Carlos?
Yeah, I think that if you did anything right now, you just drum it back up, and you don't want that. Especially
and Jake definitely doesn't want that.
He doesn't want that. So I think he went into the room and he vetoed it immediately. He was like, "Okay, guys, we're not doing it." And they were all like, "Cool, we don't need to." And it's just a smart decision. So I think it was actually his choice, and it's a smart one, or / his publicist's choice. But yeah, you don't want to go down that road again. And that thing was something that Taylor dug up from a long time ago too. So not to do a hot take about that for all the Taylor fans, but yeah, leave it to rest. I'm glad they didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really it's interesting to think about because I know that I think Bowen is like a huge Swiftie. And I thought it was funny on, during the week that Bowen was the one that was in the promos with Jake Gyllenhaal. Like that was pointed out to me. And I was like, okay, maybe there will be some subtle reference. And I was hoping that at some point, he would I know he wore something red. We put this on our Twitter. We asked if it was an Easter egg during the cabaret sketch.
Oh, right. Yeah. He's scarf or something, or the.
Yeah, I don't know what you would call that.
And
but
not
whatever
not
it was,
a scarf, but yeah.
yeah. So I don't know if that was something, but look, the episode ended up being really good. I didn't miss it. So, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, I think we'd be talking about Taylor right now if there had been something and not Jake. So,
right. It's like if Will Smith slaps somebody and that's all they talk about at the Oscars. They don't talk about the Oscars. They'd just be talking about Taylor Swift thing and Jake Gyllenhaal. So yeah.
And no one's talking about Questlove's win.
Right.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Let's take this question from at Emma_R140. Why do you think there was so much singing in the Jake episode? So I think we covered this for the most part, but any new takes here, guys, that you feel like why there was so much? You think it's just something Jake wanted to do?
Yeah, I think it just happened. I mean, again, I think he probably said yes to it at the beginning of the week, and they were like, "Okay, then let's just put it in."
The cat likes to sing. He likes to sing. They sang.
Yeah, I'd say as far as the monologue was concerned, I thought it was really, really touching and cool that he referenced his old 2007 monologue. If you sang on SNL a long time ago and you're gonna come back and you're gonna reference your singing again. I have no problems with that. I think that was a really smart choice. So I like that. All right, let's take this question from Maya Rappaport. Maya wants to know, do you think we will get Jake Gyllenhaal hosting again sometime soon? He was one of the better hosts of the last few years. Okay, high praise for Jake. Johnny, what do you think? Do you think we're going to get Jake Gyllenhaal back?
I wouldn't doubt it. Maybe in another season or two. Coming back if he has something else going on. It seemed like the cast, just seeing from the interactions in the sketches, I think they seem to enjoy him. So I wouldn't think that he wouldn't come back if there was an opportunity to do so. So
yeah, Carlos,
I think they have. Yeah, I think they have a short list of people who they know can perform. I don't know how much you guys talk about this on the show, but. I'm sure you do. It's just there's people that are funny that come on as hosts. There are people that break and are bad at it. And then there's people who are competent at doing all the sketches. And I think he falls in that category. I didn't laugh out loud that episode too much, except unless the situation was really intense or something like it. But most of it, I was just oh yeah, he's pulling it off. I counted on one hand, a couple mess ups he did, but yeah, so I think that, of course, they'd bring him back because he can do the job. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think he's as a two-time host, he's definitely one of the best. And I think that he's probably better than, as an SNL host, than some of the people who have hosted more than 2 times. So I think that, it was a long gap between those two. And I think that SNL probably looked at this week very successfully. And they were all right, if we're looking for somebody, we know that he likes doing it. And if he has the time and he's able to pull it off, I wouldn't be shocked if we got him back in, 49 or something like that. Maybe a couple years. I think it would be really cool. Okay. This next question is from Naomi. Johnny, do you want to read this next question from Naomi?
Yeah, let's see here. Thoughts on Serious Night Live, the cut sketch. I know that's Kyle's type of humor, but it almost looked like a cry for help.
Okay. So I just want to let the listeners know, this was a sketch that was not in the episode. This was a sketch that was posted on YouTube. It was originally titled "The Problem" on the rundown sheet, but it was labeled as Serious Night Live when it was posted. And this was an interesting one. It had Michael Che, it had Kyle Mooney, Jake, Mikey Day. Lorne Michaels did a voiceover for it, and basically was like a Kyle Mooney look at a new portion of the show called Serious Night Live. So. Would love to get your thoughts on this. Was this a cry for help, Johnny?
Maybe, just kind of poking fun at all of Kyle's big ideas that may or may not end up getting on the show. That he was talking about how he was paying out of his own pocket to make it. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. I don't know if it's a full cry for help or more just kind of poking fun at I think that's kind of the character of a cast member he plays.
Mm-hmm. Carlos, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a poke or kind of like reminding people that, him and Beck were awesome together. And so like they're not together on the show. And I feel like it's kind of a play on that a little bit. Like, hey, I'm over here still, And and my weird sense of humor, which are kind of like shorts. Right, he'd make basically both of those guys would make those really weird sitcom shorts and stuff together. I think it's just kind of like a callback to that. Like, I can still do this. I still like him from his YouTube days. What was it, Good Neighbor or Hello Neighbor or something?
Yeah, Good Neighbor.
Kyle's. Yeah, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of that. So for me, and I love Kyle, I didn't really like this sketch. I don't think it served any purpose besides kind of like joking that he's not really doing that style of writing right now with someone, but I don't know. I didn't find it interesting or funny, but I love Kyle. So
yeah, I'm always happy to see Kyle. His Netflix show that he has, the Saturday morning cartoon thing, is I've only seen a little bit of it, but it's wild. It's very Kyle. I laughed a lot the episode or two that I watched. I'd recommend it for any Kyle fans.
What was it the Brigsby Bear? Is that the movie?
That was a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that was excellent. Like twisted and dark and simple. And so like I think you can do more of those stuff. So I don't think I answered the question at all.
Well, I just think to answer the question directly to Naomi, I don't think that this is a cry for help, in my opinion. Right. I think that this is just like a play on, something obviously he's experienced and other cast members have experienced at the show. But I mean, like, looking at the stats, 17 episodes in, Kyle Mooney's, and I know some people have been absent, so I'll throw out the caveat, but Kyle Mooney's been in more sketches than 80, more than Kate, more than Pete, Moffat, Melissa, Chloe, Bowen, Andrew, Punky, Aristotle, James, and Sarah. So
he's not missing at all.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about Kyle Mooney missing the show. Yeah,
I was looking back at our the last episode that we did, episode 3. That at that point Kyle had been in the least amount of sketches of anyone. So
that is true. Yes, he was in 4 sketches in the first 3 episodes. Yeah. So basically, he was in 4 sketches in the first 3 episodes, and then in episode 4, he was in 5 sketches. Episode 6, he was in 7 sketches. Episode 12, he was in 5 sketches. So he's had some like big nights this season. So I definitely don't think this was a personal anecdote.
Yeah, and they gave him that opportunity to do that weird character on the news desk that failed. What was that? Remember?
Yeah. Oh, the Dan.
Dan Bilzerian thing, we should dock a couple sketches off of his count.
I was like, why is this happening? Make it stop. I like you. Don't have this happen. Why is this happening? So
and it's Saturday Night is asking the chat how many sketches he's been in this season. It's been he's in 49 this season through 17 episodes. Okay. Carlos, you want to take this next question from Ike?
Yeah. I remember Jake did a few digital shorts back in the day. Why haven't we seen Andy Samberg at 8H? Bad blood with the show? ? I don't think that could be the case.
No, I doubt it.
No, not that I'm aware of.
He's probably just super busy.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Ike, I love you, but I don't think there's any problem with Andy Samberg in the show. I just think that the cast is like just killing it outside of the show. Like they're just absolutely crushing everything they're doing. Andy's like working on so many projects, like post Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's like free to do like a bunch of other things. He did that show on Peacock at Christmas with I think it was produced by Amy Poehler with Maya Rudolph. And yeah, I mean, I just think they're all very busy. I think that if it wasn't, if that cast was available more, I mean, we would have seen Maya Rudolph as Kamala like way more this season, and we haven't. So, yeah, but obviously the next time Andy's at the show, the next time eventually, I'm sure we're not done getting digital shorts, hopefully before SNL wraps up its run entirely. I think it'll happen, but this long a wait for people who haven't been back in a while is always exciting.
Also, Andy has a production company, I believe, with Lonely Island. So they're busy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I do like this comment from Monette who says an Anchorman style of the Lonely Island and please don't destroy digital short would be hilarious. And
that would.
Yeah. To me, Johnny, this would be like 100th digital short style thing where it's like you wrap up the please don't destroy things by bringing in the Lonely Island.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Yeah, would be very cool. All right. This is a question from our friend Ken George Jones. Ken says, I still miss the ensemble sketches that we had in the first half of the season. Some were bad, but some, like TikTok in the Billie Eilish episode, were clever and creative at using many diverse talents. Long sketches with very few people are more likely to lead to dead feeling episodes for me, like Will Forte's. Sorry, Will. Do you know why they stopped? And is it because Anna Dresden left? Carlos, do you want to take this first?
Wow. Yeah, I agree that the Billie Eilish TikTok thing was awesome and epic and haunting. And I now want to rewatch it. It's so good. And by the way, I think I said it last time, but that song in it's a Smiths cover. I think Billy recorded it.
Not a Will Smith cover.
Not a Will Smith cover. No, there's no slapping in it. No. I just love that whole thing. So why though? Yeah, I mean, and now the more I learned about Anna and how much that she did for that show, that's a good idea. But I think it's in general, like I sound like a broken record. If it comes together, it comes together. When you're writing sketches, no one knows what's going to work, and you could write a very long one. It just doesn't feel like it works. But maybe it's the production time too. It's a lot to do.
Yeah, Johnny, what do you think? Do you prefer these like big ensemble sketches that we get, the running, going through every cast member, or do you prefer something short, maybe longer but with smaller cast?
I usually like the smaller cast ones personally, just kind of that way they can dig in a little deeper, get more of a character going, and rather than just the short snippets. So I like those every once in a while. Like, the TikTok one was absolutely, obviously awesome. But, I like a little bit more of the just, a couple people doing a thing. Like, the parent teacher one with Sudeikis, that kind of, when there's just 2-3 people and, they're just going through a situation. That's kind of like my favorite of SNL stuff.
I tend to agree, honestly. Every now and then, I think like the TikTok one is a great example, Ken, of, where you saw something really fun with the ensemble. I think it was different. I think that they were going, for TikTok and like how to tackle that. I think that was exciting because we hadn't seen that on the show before, really. But I think that in the case of, my general, like what I look for out of SNL, I would prefer that they go with the smaller sets, smaller cast in a longer sketch, because it might feel like if the sketch doesn't work, it dies. But, that's the magic of SNL, because when it really, really clicks with a small group of people, a la, the parent teacher sketch that Johnny referenced, I think that, those are the most fun things. And to me, like the best sketches to show your friends is like when you have this contained concept and it's able, like it becomes more shareable to me.
Yeah, I agree with both of you, because all the great sketches, and I think of great sketches, are these moments between, specific people or characters. Like with the TikTok thing, I do like the fact that, and they did it this episode too with the game show, they're referencing more like social media stuff and kind of trying to be like with the times, etc. So I like that they do that. And that's why I enjoyed the TikTok one. I like obviously the creepier one better, but I do think that, yeah, like lots of times those sketches lose me because it's like the cast member's there for a second and then they're gone. So there's no connection. It's just more like a quick joke. Like, hey, look at me. I'm doing this character. I'm gone now.
Right.
Or I'm doing an impersonation. I'm gone now. But yeah, I agree with both of you.
Yeah, and I think like in reference to that Will Forte episode, which obviously like just logistically was very problematic, but we all love Will, but the sketch that I ended up showing to my casual SNL friends was the one with Mikey Day and Heidi Gardner, where Will Forte comes in as the third in their couple.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
that, and like is sweating and needs all the tent and all that stuff. I mean, that was, three people in a sketch in a setting. And that was the one that I felt like was most shareable from that episode and classic Will. So, yeah, that's why, those ones I tend to enjoy more, but let's keep going. This is another question from our friend Blood Meridian. Blood Meridian wants to know, let's have some featured player talk. We always have some featured player therapy on the patron feedback shows. After having a strong first night and then struggling for a few episodes, especially after getting her surgery sketch cut shortly, supposedly due to audience reaction, Sarah managed to carve a place for herself into the show's core with her memorable update commentaries, her unique, creative, and audience-alienating sketch work, 2 live pieces, and 2 pre-tapes so far. When was the last time that a featured player managed to establish him or herself into a cast as quickly as Sarah? And what are your guys' predictions on how her tenure will turn out in the future? Thanks, as always. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Sarah. Carlos, what do you think?
Oh, I love Sarah. You know that. So, by the way, I never got to talk about the meatball sketch. Brilliant. I just want to say brilliant. And all the work they had to do with the prosthetics and stuff. Yeah, I think that it's funny because in the beginning of the season, I was worried like her and Aristotle were just going to be passed over, even though it had great news desk moments. And then it literally like went 2 ways. Like Aristotle went this way and then talked with Willow about it. And then, Sarah went this way and got so much stuff across. I don't know why she was able to pull it off because a lot of it, like they were saying, is like a little bit polarizing, you could say, right? Because it's gross or whatever. But it is also different. And I think that maybe other people, even Will Forte and like Fred Armisen and stuff I'm thinking of, like made it just an appearance on the show. And they were like, okay, these are these kind of weird moments and we're bringing it to you almost like they had it before, like a lot of people do when they're in sketch groups before SNL. So it's like her body of work and her kind of weirdness just kind of made it. And I guess that happens every once in a while.
Yeah. Johnny, what do you think?
Yeah, she's found a way to break through, maybe, like she's toned things down from her, her normal stuff outside the show, but it's still very Sarah. And I think she's found writers that she works well with and can just, I think she's going to have a long career at SNL if she wants it. I could also see her after a couple seasons, dipping off and doing her own thing just because, she wants to do something, a little bit bigger, either concept wise or like that. But, I think she could stay quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, I love what's happening with Sarah. I think that she's probably in the more traditional successful first year is having, a little bit of a rough patch in the fall and really like getting to like learn the ropes of how SNL works and having a really strong 2022 with the second half of, 47B has been great for Sarah. And I think that the main reason why, honestly, is like, you see her work with Please Don't Destroy. They have their sketches in the office. She comes in there. They're obviously all new to the show. They're blending in with her. Now you see her work with Dan Bula, both in Meatballs and in the Chucky sketch. James Austin Johnson and Sarah Sherman knew each other before the show. They were friends-ish, like they kind of knew of each other and they came in at the same time. Like, they're bonding. I mean, for the most part, people who are coming in at the same time, like if you can make the right friends, like you can really build a career here at SNL. And I think that's what Sarah is doing. And, she's slowly like chipping away at what she's allowed to do on the show. And I am just like excited to see what we're going to get for years to come from her, because I think she is exactly what the audience wants to see. Like, how many years have we been waiting for a little bit of a dangerous female cast member on the show?
Yeah,
we've just like been
absolutely.
asking for it, and we don't get that danger anymore, and it's finally back a little bit.
And what's interesting is that, like, when you think of like other seasons and past seasons with huge stars like Will Ferrell and people that are household names, it took a while. It took a while for them to like really resonate with the audience, with me. Like, and being like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then like, it might be what you're saying is obviously like aligning themselves with writers. But so it's pretty fast actually for her if you think of it that way. Which I love.
Yeah, for sure. I would say, I think that, part of this question, just to make sure I cover everything, Blood Meridian, is, when was the last time that a feature player managed to establish him or herself into an established cast as quickly as Sarah? And I would say for James Austin Johnson and Sarah Sherman for this season, they're having some of the best rookie years that we've probably seen in like a very, very long time. Maybe since Cecily Strong and A.D. Bryant, since they came onto the show together. I think that, I'm trying to think of anybody that came on in between that had like such a strong first year. Mikey Day and Alex Moffat, had a little bit, but yeah, it's been a little bit since I can really feel confident about those two for sure.
By the way, Blood Meridian in chat says, I can see her get a sketch show after SNL. If so, and if for some reason, Sarah, you're watching, please bring me on as a writer. Come on, I can write. Let's talk. Tweet me.
Okay.
Just saying. Shameless plug.
Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
I'm gonna shoot my shot. Sarah, let's write together. Come on.
You better give me a little something if that ends up happening, Carlos.
Hold on. Sarah, here's my my audition for you.
Yeah, this is an audio format, Carlos. It's an audio format.
It was a visual gag, and I just spit up. Okay, there you go.
All the audio listeners are like, what the hell is happening?
Didn't you hear the spittle?
All right, it's been a while. It's been a wild week on the SNL podcast, SNL Network podcast. People, Sean Grant showing off his abs.
Just clip that and be like, watch the SNL podcast.
Oh gosh. Okay. Let's say we have a few more questions before this goes too off the rails. Let's take this one from @BarkInFace. Says, please discuss Pete Davidson. Is he ever coming back? It seems like he's just chilling in LA. Johnny, you got any answers to this?
I mean, I know he was working on a movie at some point. I don't know if he still is. I think he's just living his life. I don't know if I guess he was around for the short ass movies pre-tape at some point. So he stopped by. So I don't know. I bet we'll see him in studio. I'm making my prediction right here. We will see him in 8H during a live show before the end of the season.
Carlos, what do you think?
You heard it here first, folks.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, lucky us. He's a cast member. I have frustrations with Pete. I really do. And he's just dating Kim Kardashian. So that's what's going on. Yeah. And he's in her mansion and they're hanging out. I don't know. I don't even know if I see him. The thing is, I love that movie sketch. Remember? What was that weird dark one during that episode that we talked about? His black and white movie.
Oh, the Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. The Paul Rudd episode. Yeah.
Almost genius level. And I'm like, okay, I want to see more of this. Like, and then just nothing for a long time. So I don't know. I think him and Kim are just hanging out too much.
Yeah. I think he'll be back for the May run. I think that's my prediction. I think he'll be back for that. I think, I'm not reporting anything. I just think it could be a wrap on Pete after that. Yeah. I think that he's, really done all he could at the show at this point. But if he wants to stick around, and like I said, he is the biggest name at the show now. When was the last time they had such a big name? I mean, Kate McKinnon was the biggest name at the show for a long time. It's been a freaking long time since they could say that one of the biggest stars in the world is a cast member on Saturday Night Live. I don't think Lorne Michaels wants him to go. He looks at him like a godson in some sense. So I think, for me, if he wants to stick around, Lorne will have him stick around regardless of what his other projects are, personal or professional. So, it's a very big, I mean, Pete is a big name. We talk, there's a lot of niche stuff that happens in our little community. Everybody who is not even a fan of SNL, knows Pete Davidson's name at this point.
Yeah, I think he pretty much has carte blanche to come and go as he pleases from Lorne at this point. Just Oh, I'll show up for half a day and do this. Okay, I'm gone. And they're like, okay, see you when you come back.
I have to like just at least say that I don't like that concept.
Yeah, I don't
Because-
really either. But
being a
The
sketch
same,
person and like working with people and having like this camaraderie, this is my mini soapbox. Like it's a really big deal when people just don't show up or aren't like part of the moment that you're having. Now, if there's the COVID stuff happened, that's true. There was like other issues at play, totally fine. But if you're like, I'm too busy for it, like that just rubs me the wrong way. That's all.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah, like I said, I just think he's like the most famous cast member we've had on the show. Probably, I'm trying to think since Kristen Wiig, maybe. Go back to the days of Jimmy Fallon. He was hugely popular. Will Ferrell, obviously. I mean, Pete Davidson is just hugely popular. Anything he does at this point, people like, a lot of fans go nuts for. So we will see. Okay, this one is from Dan Asern. Let's turn our attention to the Lizzo week. This one is from Dan. Dan says, do you think there will be a musical sketch from Lizzo? So we talked a lot about that at the beginning of the show. Let's make our predictions. How much music are we getting from Lizzo this week, Johnny?
I'd say we'll get at least one or two sketches where she's singing or fluting.
Okay.
Hopefully fluting, but
yeah. Carlos, what do you think?
Yeah, I think she might open with a song, and she's definitely doing a song with 80. I just can't not see it happening. So her and 80, a pre-tape, I think.
I would be remiss if I did not bring up the Cut for Time sketch from the time that Eddie Murphy hosted and Lizzo was the musical guest. That was called 80 Bizzo and Lizzo, and it was all about 80 Bryant becoming a version of Lizzo.
Right. Yeah. Well, that means they have history.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So I wonder if we can get.
Yeah, they'll definitely do something together.
Yeah, it was like Bowen. I think behind the scenes at one point, like 80's talking to Bowen, and it's Bowen's first season, and Bowen's talking about like how incredible it is to have Eddie Murphy at the show, and Eddie Murphy walks up to 80, and she turns into her inner Lizzo and sasses Eddie, and it's a very funny pre-tape that got cut from that episode.
Is that on? So yeah, I mean, is that on YouTube?
It is on YouTube.
Yeah. I just watched it earlier this week, so it's there.
I'll go back and watch that. Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So, yes, Dan, I think there will be a musical sketch from Lizzo. I don't know how many, but, we'll see. Okay. This is funny. We got a question from Rebecca South, not Rebecca North, from Rebecca South this week. Rebecca South says, which cast members do you expect to work well with Lizzo? So let's put 80 to the side because we talked about 80 already. Any other cast members that you predict will work well with Lizzo? Carlos?
Well, I think Bowen. I think, oh, what would be really great is Kyle. I could see
Kyle and Lizzo.
Yeah, because Kyle did the thing with Leslie, remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the kind of like the energies, I think there's something maybe similar there, like a kind of like a strong woman and Kyle being like feeble. And I would call Lizzo a strong woman, and Kyle is, at least he plays feeble. Yeah, that might be a good one. I think Bowen would do well too.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you think?
I agree with those. I'd also like to see her get weird with Sarah. Do something, some crazy squirm stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I would like to see James Austin Johnson play his meager
milk toast.
Milk toast. Yeah, milk toast character.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good. Yeah. That's a good.
Someone
combo.
like Lizzo. I think like that would be a great combination. So,
yes, dear.
Yeah.
Yes, dear.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Okay. The last question we have is from David. Any cameo predictions this week for Lizzo? So, anything you think you might get on Lizzo episode, Johnny? You have anybody?
What I've been trying to think, because I know she has the new song coming out tomorrow, but she hasn't had anything else. The only last song she had out was in the fall, was Rumors, which had Cardi B. So I'm wondering if maybe we might get a Cardi B musical, if they might do that song, and we get Cardi B in the studio.
Okay. Carlos, any cameo predictions?
I have no predictions for this one. And by the way, you know the stats. That's what the show's all about. Has the cameos went down in this season? Do we know?
No, because not generally. I mean, it definitely went down last season with COVID. Right. But yeah, we've had some good cameos. I mean, depends on the episode. There's been, I think last week, Mike Murray told me this week that last week with Jake Gyllenhaal and the Ariana DeBose episodes are the only 2 episodes of the season where no sketches had cameos in an episode.
Right. That's what maybe I was feeling, because like recently I feel like it's been a little low. So if anything, this episode might have it. Yeah, that's not an answer. I don't know what answer. Yes, cameo. I don't know who.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure myself. I think I just, I wouldn't mind people showing up. I always find at the end of a run, I always prefer a more cameo heavy episode. I think that's always fun for me. It's, like bringing a lot of high energy to the show. So yeah, it could be fun. I mean, I would expect maybe a cameo or 2, especially if they aren't sure how strong of a host somebody like Lizzo is. Then that's the time where you start to think about, who could potentially be there to assist throughout the night. But either way, very excited for this. So I hope you enjoyed our patron feedback show tonight as we went through your questions and talked about everything from social media. Tomorrow night, we will be back with Hollywood Dish. So come back right here in this time slot at 8 p.m. Eastern for Rebecca North, not Rebecca South, to be here with Nicole Rovine, and special guest TJ will be on the show. TJ Randolph will be on the show.
Awesome.
with Rebecca and Nicole to talk through everything in pop culture this week. It's a very pop culture heavy week, so just be prepared for a very fun Hollywood Dish. And of course, we will be back Saturday night right after the Hot Take Show for the Lizzo episode. Sorry, right after the episode for the Hot Take Show for the Lizzo show. I think I got that out. Okay. All right. Johnny, please tell the listeners where they can find you on social media. Always great to catch up with you.
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the Johnny, JONNY. I'm also on TikTok, CatDad321.
Oh, I have to add you. I'm going to follow you.
I don't have much stuff on there, but I'm there.
All right. Well, really great to hear from you, Johnny. Carlos, where can the listeners reach out to you?
Yeah, I'm on the TikToks. If I've not mentioned it 18 times in this episode, I apologize. Now it's kind of like where I do my sketches. So it's just Carlos Rodella, Carlos Rodela, just my name on TikTok. And I do a lot of sketches about coffee that I just spit up. Do a lot of Starbucks sketches. If you like Starbucks and the ridiculous stuff that goes on there, I'm your guy. TikTok.
For sure. Carlos, go get yourself cleaned up. And while you're doing that,
it's a little bit messy. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You can find us anywhere on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to find all the content we are producing. We did put out the screen time already for this week, so you can go check that out on our Instagram page. And we put that on Twitter as well to see how everybody did this week in terms of screen time. And you can find me at John Schneider 24. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify to never miss an episode. All right, for Johnny Fletcher and Carlos Rodella and the wonderful chat we get here for our patron feedback shows, my name is John Schneider. We will see you next time, everybody. Have a good one.